Did I just see Pearl Tusi's boobs? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zwa, and today I'll be doing a review and discussion on the 3 shows that I watched this week. So let's get to it. The first show that I watched this week was Queen Sono. Queen Sono is this African Netflix show that features Pearl Tusi's character Queen Sono, and basically follows her as she is working for this secret spy organization in South Africa, and basically follows her as she investigates like this plot that involves a terrorist organization and this like massive security / war company from Russia, and it basically follows how those 2 organizations are involved. Her dealing with the death of her mom, Safia Sono, that died, I want to say around the time Nelson Mandela was released from Robben Island, and she also is investigating the murder of her mom and like, okay, was it, what was going on there? I'm just gonna go off right off the bat and just give the show 3 out of 5. Like, I was pleasantly surprised when it came to the production. I think in small ways, on a technical level, the show is like pretty good. It also had a shorter episode count. It had 6 episodes. Do you think that the 6 episodes made the show made the storytelling taut and tighter? Made us be like, okay, we're going to a place. We don't know where we're going as yet, but we're going somewhere, and I like where we're going. Chi Mendes' character, I forgot her name in the show, but Chi Mendes' character, I do think she was underutilized. I do think that she has a lot of scope in like making her character more complex. The acting, the acting isn't the best, I'm not gonna lie. Times where I was like, the acting isn't the best, but because of the other technical aspects of the show, I'm gonna carry on watching it. But there's 2 main problems that I had with the show. First problem that I had was the world building. Let me just call it the world building of the show. When you tell a story, world building is important because it allows the reader or the viewer to escape into the world, to be so engrossed into the world that they, on some level, escape their world and just focus on the world that you have created for them. Now, with Queen Sono, I think a problem that it had was that it did a lot of telling rather than showing. So when you show us the world being built, when you show us characters' motivations, when you show us how a character thinks and the choices that they make, it's really good storytelling. I don't think it did that for the most part. I do think that in some ways it did that for Queen Sono. It definitely showed us a lot of Queen Sono. And I think how she was written is good. How she was portrayed. But you could see that Queen Sono is struggling with a lot. She's struggling with the actual murder of her mom. There's a small scene where you can see that Queen is struggling with her mom's involvement with the struggle, because she feels in some way that the apartheid struggle took her mom away from her, and she understands the importance of the apartheid struggle and why it had to happen, and she can on some level understand that, okay, I know why my mom was part of the apartheid struggle, but I'm still pissed that you're gone. I'm still pissed that you had to be involved in it, and I know I shouldn't be pissed, but I don't know how to feel anymore. And maybe I'm giving them a lot more benefit of the doubt than they deserve, but I do think that there was something there and wasted opportunity. World building is important because it can supplement your character's motivations, your character choices throughout the show / series. It can supplement your actual depiction of the character itself. In the show, you had almost every character really lamenting about how, you know, Africa as a whole is still reeling from the effects of colonialism, how the legacy of colonialism still affects scores of Black people across the continent. You have characters telling us about the problems that Black people face in Africa. You have all of these characters telling us this, but they're not showing us. That's my gripe with the show. It didn't do enough showing. It did a lot of telling. So let me give you an example. Watch Black Panther. You had the first sequence is Killmonger's dad telling us about Wakanda, about the vibranium, and about how Wakanda essentially was built, and how you have that entire sequence, which is essentially a prologue. You get T'Challa entering Wakanda, and even then there's more world building. You're seeing the different tribes, you're seeing the city, you are seeing how these different tribes interact, you're seeing like the structures of power. When you have a series or movie, it's in some ways easier than a book when it comes to world building because it's a visual medium. Also, your job is done because you have the viewer watching what's going on, watching the world being built. I don't think Queen Sono did that well. There were small scenes, like small scenes, where it was like, okay, that's an inkling of world building, but again, there's room for improvement. I do think that they did a lot of telling us about the world rather than showing us the world. Which is why maybe if they had an extra episode just to iron things out, iron characters, iron their motivations, it would have elevated the show a lot more. Another problem that I had with the show was Freddy. So Freddy is basically Queen's confidant, Queen's friend, and he is essentially the guy behind the computer. When we get to episode 2, though, there is a scene. It's not even a scene. It's like, what? An inkling of a scene where we see Freddy go on about how his sister is still missing, and his sister has been missing for years now after the entire village was destroyed. His village was destroyed by the president of the country, and he's goishing because of that, and he's like, my sister's missing. This president killed my village, killed my parents, my family, he ruined my life. You get more of that in episode 3, because in episode 2 it's just about the missing sister. In episode 3, which is another inkling of a scene, you have Freddy confronts Sid, and he's like, Sid, you told me that you would help me find my sister, but all these years you haven't. 10 minutes later, after that inkling of a scene, you are given a scene where Freddy is about to shoot the president of the country. Freddy's going on about how, like, you ruined my life, and I'm out here like, I wish I could care. I really wish I could care, but I don't, because what backstory did you give me other than 2 small, tiny scenes? And that was, in my opinion, wasted potential. Because that scene in which Freddy is faced with making the choice of whether or not to kill the president, that should have come way later in the season. Episode 5 at the very least, where we build up the tension, we build up and we ask ourselves, if Freddy meets this man, will he kill him or not? In episode 3, we kind of know that he isn't gonna kill him, which is why I think the tension was removed. However, had he killed him though, that would have been like a ballsy move. I would have been like, okay, you guys got balls. Because then we could have spent 3 more episodes adding more complexity to Freddy's character. Watch Freddy grapple with the choice that he made and wonder, did he make the right choice? Did he not? But he doesn't shoot him in episode 3. And I'm like, wasted potential. Wasted potential. There's this one scene where Queen is like having sex with Vuya Dabula's character, and I was watching with my sister and we were both like,
did I just see Tom Casey's boobs?
That was hilarious. The villain isn't a bad villain. She is your standard white colonialist, like power hungry lady who like is a cookie cutter villain. Like, she's standard. But there are times where I was like, I hope this doesn't awaken something within me. There's a scene where she storms this mansion and the president is there, the president of South Africa is there, and I'm actually like, I don't care about the president of South Africa. He's such a boring character. He's a sleazeball. And then you have like these 2 white men, and that white lady tells Vuya Dabula and his men to tie up the white man, and it's like, tie them up, and then she throws like gasoline. She throws gasoline on these men, and she takes a lighter and she throws it at them, and they start burning alive, and she's smiling, and all of the guys are like, I'm out there like, that's hot. She's just smiling, and I'm like, you aren't a complex villain, but I kind of stan your work. All in all, I would give the show 3 out of 5. It's nice to have us represented in such a way and our stories to be told. But I do think that you should still give us like good quality work. despite that. Like, I still want something good. The next show I watched was Too Hot to Handle. It's another Netflix original reality show that basically features 10 like people, 5 women and 5 men, and they go to this nice cute resort, and it's just by the beach, and it's where we all want to go to after lockdown. Kota imali ayiko. Basically them being like,
oh my god, I'm here for a holiday, I'm here for a nice time, I'm gonna fuck so many people, oh my god, I'm so excited.
All the while, in the 12 hours that they're meeting and interacting with each other, the first 12 hours, you have this machine, this artificial intelligence, and she calls herself Lana, and she's basically gaining data, she's gaining information. And after 12 hours, the first 12 hours have elapsed, Lana sits them down and she's like,
I want you guys to make deep and meaningful connections. And I've decided that you guys won't have sex, you guys won't masturbate, and you guys won't kiss. I need you guys to make self-growth and introspect and make deep connections, but not physically. As an incentive, I will give you guys $100,000, so have fun.
And the first thing I thought when I heard that was, $100,000? It smells like broken here. It smells like broke. And yeah, like they're all like, oh my god, I've never gone a day without having sex. Like, oh my god, I can't even wank. Oh my god, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And Macho, like, everyone on the TL has been doing this for the past 6 weeks. It might turn out that they'll have to do it for an additional 2 months. It's not that hard. Calm your tits. I question how much involvement the producers had when it came to like the characters' choices. But I feel like there were moments where like the producers were like, okay, to all the women, some of you guys are kind of ditzy. I need you guys to be even more ditzy, like times 1,000. And I feel like the producers looked at the men and they were like, you know, UCT Commerce students, channel that energy. Because honestly, all of the boys are UCT Commerce students. They all are. They're different species of the UCT Commerce man, but they all are UCT Commerce. They all are. Y'all, Cal's personality traits, he only has 2 personalities, and one where he's literally like this all day, and one where he is like this when he finds out that Harry has in fact spent more of the prize money.
I swear I will eat your entrails and I curse your house.
Those are his 2 personality traits. And honestly, I love a man who's focused, who's all about the bag, securing the bag. Love that for him. Harry, I kind of wanted to be his friend, but I wanted to punch him in the balls half of the time. Haley. Sweet, sweet Haley. When we meet Haley, she's like, yeah, I date guys mostly, but I also go for girls who have blue eyes and blonde hair. And then as the show was going on, I was like, you mean to tell me that you date guys, but you fuck girls who have blue eyes, blonde hair, and are also Francesca? When Haley was like,
yeah, let's kiss,
to Francesca, I was like, smells like gay. David. He's just such a nice person. Like, I appreciate everything about David. When he started crying, when he was looking at like Rhonda, I was like, oh my gosh, toxic masculinity was found quaking in its boots. And then when he went to Sharon and he was like, bro, like, do you like Rhonda? Because if you do, he was like, David was like, yeah, like, if you like Rhonda, bro, like, I don't want this to come into our friendship. Yeah, go for her. Like, I understand. Like, I'm cool. And I was like, oh my god. Oh, guys, like, get you a friend like David. Man can't spell excitement for shit. He literally wrote excitement, and that took me out. But I want to be David's friend. I also appreciated how the show could be self-aware at times, at least through the narrator. Like, the narrator portrayed the show as being a little bit self-aware, in a sense where it would be like, the producers are running out of ideas, so they're gonna do this in a last-ditch effort to entertain you guys. I'm not in the business of defining a relationship, defining how long a relationship needs to be till you reach a certain level. I don't think a relationship has stages. A relationship should just like exist, and like people should just make connections. Like, I'm not in the business of defining a relationship, but I do find that in a lot of these shows, there's something about accelerating everything. By the end of the show, everyone, at least the two couples, were like, oh my god, like, I would rather eviscerate than be without you. Oh my god, I'm going to cross continents for you, girl. Oh my god, there's no place I'd rather be. And I'd be like, bro, it's only been 4 weeks, hey? Like, I don't think it's that deep. But there's something about accelerating the relationship and making them extremely intense. And I'm not saying that that's not possible. Like, these people spent 4 weeks on an island alone, and it was really a holiday resort. It was a getaway, and I'm like, I'm happy for them. But I don't know, there's something, I don't think it bothers me a lot, but there's just something that irks me. Like, it scratches my head a little bit when I just see how accelerated everything is and how fast-paced all of these relationships are. Speaking of, my two friends, Mari and Zara, they run a podcast. It's titled Sunday Lunch, and they made a fairly recent episode about these reality TV shows and about human connection, and they really delved deep into them, and I really think you guys should give that episode a listen. They are found on all streaming platforms, but I will put a link in the description below. Highly, highly, highly suggest that you listen to that episode and just listen to the entire podcast. The next show that I watched was TigerKing, and what the fuck was TigerKing, guys? I finished it. I finished it today, actually, at around 3 a.m. But yeah, like, what the fuck was that show? Throughout the entire show, I was like, let me move my bang. Girl, what? So, yeah, that was me throughout the entire show. Like, it would just get wilder and wilder and wilder with every passing episode. So, TigerKing basically explores these white people. It explores these white people and who breed exotic animals, who sell exotic animals, who keep exotic animals, and they have like these zoos, and they're just involved in like, there are moments where it's like crime, and then it gets to a point where it's like, surely this is not real. So we have different zookeepers, but our main guy, his name is Joe Exotic, and he is titled TigerKing, and he basically has a zoo of 227 like tigers. And then you have Carol Baskin, who is a literal fucking cat lady. She blurs the line of running a sanctuary and straight up running a zoo. I smell hypocrisy. So the first 3 episodes basically introduce us to all of these zookeepers, essentially. It introduces us into their breeding ways with the cats, and it also introduces us into like this wild side. And I'm like, this is a cult, you guys. What the shit? You have this woman, and she's basically telling us the story of her experiences with one of the zookeepers, and his name is Dr. Bhagavan. He calls himself a mystical arts doctor, and I was like, he's like, better Doctor Strange, whoa. She's telling us about her experiences and how, guys, Jesus. She's telling us about how he would basically make these women live in the most horrible of conditions, and if you wanted to level up to his level of enlightenment, you would have to have sex with him, and you'd have to, like, you know, basically do horrible things just to like live. Sickening. You have Dr. Bhagavan justifying his actions, and he's like, yeah, like, you know, to reach my level of enlightenment, you know, they have to like interact with me and like work with me. And I'm actually like, what the fuck? Then there's another part in the show where they're telling us They're telling us how they would like sell drugs. So this one zookeeper, he was like, yeah, I used to sell drugs to maintain my love for these wild animals. They would cut up snakes, stuff like packets of cocaine into the snakes, stitch them up, and then sell it to the person who wants the drugs. And I'm out here like, the lady who was like working with Dr. Bhagavan as like, you know, the worker, she's going on about how she would like wake up and she's trying to make a sandwich, and then she would like open the bread and there's cockroaches in the bread, and Dr. Bhagavan wouldn't give a shit. And I'm actually like, you only say anyway to like, why are y'all putting yourselves through that? And like a lot of them are going on about how like, you know, it's for the animals. I really love the animals. And like you could see that these people adore these animals. Like they do love them. But the people who are in charge, I don't think it's about the animals. It's about their own egos. It's about making themselves, it's about the fame. It's all about the fame. It's all about, you know, the entertainment, the spotlight, and especially Joe Exotic. And what was his undoing was his ego, was his arrogance, was this hunger for fame. And man's in prison now, and he's probably going to be released because Donald Trump. So Carol Baskin, she says that she, you know, you can see that she runs a sanctuary for these wild animals. But also, it's not a sanctuary. It's a zoo. Like, it's dead as a zoo. It's not cute, guys. Like, America really is the ghetto. There's this newspaper article that was released that basically said that Joe's racism was excluded from the show because it wasn't the focus, number one. And number two, because it basically wanted to make a compelling character. I love it when intense racism is removed from a character to make them compelling. Honestly, they did what Quentin Tarantino has failed to do. And we learn at the end that Joe Exotic did in fact marry 2 straight men. He even tells us, Joe is like, yeah, I fell in love with 2 straight men and I married them. And I'm like, we learned that both of these men went to the other co-workers at the zoo and they were like, yeah, I'm straight, I'm not gay, like I'm not gay. And we learned that one of Joe's husbands is dead ass having sex with Joe's secretary, and even went as far as making her pregnant. I do think that my brain cells have given up on me after I watched that show. A part of me doesn't know why I went ahead and finished it, because there were times where I was like, I'm not going to finish this shit. I'm not going to watch it. But I did. I finished it. I do think I'm still reeling from it. I do think I'm still recovering from watching such a show. But do I recommend people to watch it? Yes. Would I recommend you watching it while you're drunk, while you're on weed? Even a bigger yes. Yes, like yes. Oh my god. What the fuck did I watch? Well, that's that. Those are the shows that I watched. I am currently watching Insecure Season 4, Westworld Season 3, and I'm planning on starting The Midnight Gospel, which is another Netflix show. I don't really know what my next video is going to be about. I'm really still recovering from TigerKing, guys. TigerKing really did a number on me. But yeah, next week, I'll figure out what I'm going to talk about next week. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!